Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Marin Onstage's production of A Dollhouse. Emergency exits are located at the entrance to the theater and on your right. Please turn off your cell phones. A reminder, there will be one 15-minute intermission after Act 1 and a short stand and stretch intermission at the end of Act 2. Our young actors will take their bow at the end of Act 1. Enjoy the show and tell your friends.
Oh, hide the decorations, Anne-Marie. The children mustn't see them till this evening. How much? 50, ma'am? Oh. Well, there's a crown. Tell him to keep the change.
Oh, thank you, ma'am.
Yes, he's home.
Is that my little lark twittering out there?
Yes, it
Is that my squirrel rummaging around?
is. Yes,
When did my squirrel get in?
just now. Do come in, Torvald. See what I bought.
Can't be disturbed. Bought, you say? All of that. Has the little spendthrift been out throwing around money again?
Torvald, this year we really should let ourselves go a little. It's the first Christmas we haven't had to economize.
But you know we can't go squandering.
But we can splurge a little, can't we? Just a teeny tiny bit. Well, now that you've landed that big job, you'll make piles and piles of money.
That starts on New Year's Day, but it'll be 3 months until the entire raise comes
Oh,
through.
pooh! We can borrow till then.
Nora, are you being scatterbrained again? What if I borrowed 1,000 crowns and you went on a spending spree, and then on New Year's Eve, a roof tile fell on my head and I lay
Oh,
there?
don't even think about it.
But what if it happened?
If anything that awful happened, it just wouldn't matter if I had debts or not.
But what about the people I borrowed from?
Them? Who cares about them? They're strangers.
Oh, Nora, Nora. How like a woman. Seriously, Nora, you know what I think about that? No debts. Never borrow. If you do, your freedom's lost. And something beautiful, too. A home cannot be founded on borrowing and debt. The two of us have made it work up till now. It will go on like that until my raise comes through.
Yes, Torvald. Whatever you say.
Now, the little lark's wings mustn't droop. Don't be a sulky squirrel, Nora. Guess what I have for you?
Money! Oh. Oh, 10, 20, 30, 40. Oh, thank you, Torvald.
I know how costs soar during the Christmas season.
Oh, I'll be able to make it on this.
You will have to.
Oh, I will, I promise. Now come here so I can show you everything I bought. And so cheap, too. New clothes for Gia, and those dancing shoes she's been asking for. Magic wand for Kaya, and a doll and doll's bed for Emmy. Oh, it's not much, but she'll soon smash them to pieces in no time. And I've dress material and handkerchiefs for dear old Anne-Marie. Oh, she really deserves more, but...
And, what's in that package over there?
No, you can't see that until tonight.
Well, I see. Now, tell me, what did you get for yourself?
For myself? Oh, I don't want anything at all.
Come now, tell me, what, within reason, you would like most?
I really don't know. Oh, maybe, Torvald. Well, if you could give me something, maybe you could.
Come on, out with it.
You could give me money, Torvald. Oh, no more than you think you could spare, and then one of these days I'll buy something with it.
But Nora...
Oh, please, Torvald. Then I could paint Gil decorate on the Christmas tree. Oh, won't that be nice?
What are those little birds called that fly through their fortunes?
Spendthrifts, I know, but oh, do, Torvald. That way I have time to decide what I really need most. That makes sense, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. If you actually hang on to the money and really use it to buy yourself something with. Instead, it'll go for the house or for foolish things, and then I'll only end up having to dole out more.
Torvald.
Don't deny it, my little Nora. Spendthrifts are sweet, but they go through money fast. It's incredible what it costs a man to feed those little birds.
How can you say that? I save everything I can.
Oh yes, everything you can, but that's nothing at all.
Well, if only you knew what expenses we larks and squirrels have, Torvald.
Well, you're an odd duck. Exactly like your father was. Never at a loss for scaring up money, but the moment you get it, it slips through your fingers like water, and you're never sure what you've done with it. Well, I'll take you as you are. It's in your blood. These things are genetic, Nora.
I only wish I'd inherited more of Papa's qualities.
And I don't wish you were anything other than what you are. But, you have a very, what shall I call it? A very suspicious look about you.
I do?
You certainly do. Look me in the eye.
Well,
Surely. My little sweet tooth hasn't been running wild around town today, has she?
no, what makes you
My
think
little
so?
sweet tooth didn't make a detour to the bakery.
No, I assure you, Torvald.
Nibbled on some pastry.
No, not at all.
Not even munched a macaroon or two.
No! I assure you, Torvald, really.
Oh, come now. I was only kidding.
But you know I'd never go behind your back.
I know. And you have given me your word. Well, Nora, you can keep your little Christmas secrets to yourself. I expect we'll see them all tonight when the tree is lit.
Did you remember to ask Dr. Rank?
No, but worry not. He knows he'll be dining with us, and I'll ask him this afternoon anyway when he stops by. I've ordered a fine wine, Nora. Oh, you can't imagine how much I'm looking forward to this evening.
So am I. And what fun it'll be for the children.
It's fulfilling to know that I've landed a safe, secure job with a very nice salary. It's gratifying, isn't
It
it?
was wonderful.
You remember last Christmas?
Oh,
You shut yourself in working every evening till after midnight making flowers for the tree and all the decorations just to surprise us. That was the dullest time I've ever lived through.
well, it wasn't dull for me.
And the results were, well, a mess.
Oh, don't tease me about that again. It wasn't my fault the cat got in and tore everything to shreds.
No, it certainly wasn't. You wanted to please us so much, and that's what's important. But now the hard times are over.
Yes, it's really wonderful.
And now I don't have to stay up late, alone, bored, and you don't have to wear out your precious eyes and your delicate little hands.
No, it's true. I don't. Oh, how lovely to hear. Now, here's how I think we should plan things. Right after Christmas. Oh, somebody would arrive and spoil it.
I'm not at home to visitors. Don't forget.
Excuse me, ma'am. A lady to see you.
All right, send her in.
And the doctor's arrived.
Is he on his way to my study?
Yes, he is.
Hello, Nora. Hello.
You don't recognize me.
Oh, wait, I think... My God! Christine! Oh, Christine! Is it really you?
Yes, it's me.
Oh, to think I didn't recognize you. Well, how could I, Christine? You've changed so much.
Yes, I guess I have. It's been 10, 11, 12 long years.
Has it been that long? But yes, it's all of that. Oh, my last 10 years have been happy ones, believe me. And now you've come to town. Even made that long journey in winter. That took courage.
Thank God the ship finally arrived this morning.
To enjoy yourself at Christmas, of course. We will enjoy ourselves. Take off your cloak. Are you still cold? Well, there, now let's get cozy by the stove. The armchair. I'll pale, Christine, but looking almost the same.
And much, much older.
Oh, perhaps a little older. Just a teeny tiny bit, not much at all. Oh, how thoughtless of me. To sit here chattering away. Dear, sweet Christine, can you ever forgive me?
What do you mean, Nora?
Oh, poor Christine. You've become a widow.
Yes, 3 years ago.
Yes, I read about it in the papers. Oh, believe me, I often thought of writing to you, but I kept putting it off, and things just kept popping up.
Nora, dear, I understand completely.
No, it was awful of me. Oh, you poor thing. What you must have gone through. And he left you nothing.
Nothing.
And the children?
Nothing.
Nothing at all, then?
Not even a sense of loss.
Oh. Oh, Christine, how awful.
It happens sometimes, Nora.
So terribly alone. I have 3 lovely children. They're outside with their nursemaid just now. Oh, you must tell me everything.
No, tell me about you.
No, you first. I'm trying not to be selfish today. I only want to think of you. But I must just tell you this one thing. Have you heard about our wonderful luck?
No, what happened?
My husband has just been named manager of the bank.
Your husband? How marvelous.
Isn't it, though? Oh, being a lawyer is not easy, especially if you have scruples. Torvald won't touch any cases that aren't clean and decent, and I agree with him completely on that. Oh, we're simply delighted, believe me. He's breaking in now, and he'll take over the reins on New Year's Day. And he's to have a huge salary. And of course, there are commissions. Oh, from right now, we'll be able to live quite differently. Just as we want to. Oh, Christine, I feel so light and happy. It would be lovely to have stacks of money and not a care in the world.
Well, it would be lovely to have enough for necessities.
No, not just enough for necessities. Stacks and stacks of money.
Nora, nothing's changed. Back in school, you were so free with money.
Yes, Torvald would agree with you there. But Nora isn't as silly as you all think. Well, we've been in no position for me to spend anything. We've had to work, both of us.
You too.
Yes, at odd jobs, needlework, embroidery, crochet, and other things. You remember Torvald left the department when we were first married. Well, there was no chance for a promotion in his office. Of course, he had to earn more money, but well, that first year he drove himself too hard. He took on all kinds of cases that kept him on the go from early in the morning till late at night. He felt dreadfully ill. The doctor said it was essential that he travel south.
Yes, didn't you spend a year in Italy?
We did. It wasn't easy. Gia had just been born, but we had to go. Oh, it was a beautiful trip, Christine, and it saved Torvald's life. But it was frightfully expensive.
I can well imagine.
Oh, 4,800 crowns.
Well, it's lucky you had it.
Well, we got it from Papa.
I see. Didn't your father die about that?
Yes. I couldn't go take care of him. I had to stay here, expecting Gia at any moment, and there was poor sick Torvald to care for. Oh, dearest Papa. I never saw him again, Christine. That was the hardest time in my marriage.
I know how you loved him. And then you went off to Italy.
We did. We had the means by then, and the doctors urged us to go, so we left a month later.
And your husband came back completely cured.
Sound as a drum.
But then, why the doctor?
Who?
The man I came in with. I thought I heard the maid say he was a doctor.
Oh, that's Dr. Rank. But he's not making a sick call. He's our closest friend. He stops by at least once a day. No, Torvald hasn't been sick since Italy. And the children are fit and strong, and I am too. Oh, thank God, Christine, how lovely to be alive and happy. Oh, forgive me. I am talking of nothing but my own affairs. Now, don't be angry with me. Is it true you weren't in love with your husband? If so, why did you marry him?
My mother was still alive, but bedridden and helpless, and I had 2 younger brothers to take care of. I just couldn't turn him down.
No, you did the right thing. But wasn't he wealthy?
He was very well off. But his business was shaky, Nora. By the time he died, it had fallen apart and there was nothing left.
And then?
Yes, then. I had to put together everything I had to carve out a living in a little shop, and a little teaching, and whatever else I could find. The last 3 years have been one endless workday with no rest. But that's all over now, Nora. My mother's passed on and my boys are out working.
How free you must feel.
No, only unspeakably empty. Nothing to live for now. I couldn't take it out there any longer in that desolate hole. Maybe here it'll be easier to find something to do and keep my mind occupied. If only I could find a steady job, some office work, maybe.
Christine, that sounds dreadfully tiring, and you look worn out. Oh no, it would be better for you to go to a health resort.
I have no father to give me travel money, Nora.
Oh, don't be angry with me.
No, Nora, dear, don't you be angry with me. The worst is all the bitterness I've stored up. No one to work for, and yet always having to snap up whatever I can get. You have to live. You grow selfish. When you told me of the happy change coming in your life, you know that I was delighted less for you than for me.
How so? Oh, I see. You think perhaps Torvald can do something for you.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, he will. Just leave it to me. I'll bring it up delicately. I'll find something to humor him with. Oh, it would be so wonderful to help you.
How kind of you, Nora, to be so concerned about me. Doubly kind, considering you know so little of life's burdens yourself.
I know so little.
Well, my heavens, a little needlework and such. Nora, you're just a child.
Don't act so superior.
Oh,
You are just like all the others. All of you think I'm incapable of anything serious.
come on.
That I've never had to deal with the real world.
Nora, you've just been telling me all of your troubles.
Oh. Trivia. I haven't told you the really big thing.
Big thing. What do you mean?
You look down on me, Christine, but you shouldn't. You're proud that you worked so long and so hard for your mother.
I don't look down on a soul. But it is true, I am proud and happy to think that I was able to make my mother's last days almost carefree.
You're also proud of what you've done for your brothers.
I feel I have a right to be.
I agree. But listen to this, Christine. I've also got something to be proud of and happy for.
I don't doubt it, but what do you mean?
Shh, not so loud. Oh, what if Torvald heard? And he mustn't. Not a word. No one must know, Christine. No one but you.
Well, come on, what is it then?
Come here. All right. Yes. I've also got something to be proud of and happy for. I saved Torvald's life.
Saved? How?
I told you about the trip to Italy. If we hadn't gone south, Torvald would have died.
Of course, and your father gave you the means.
Oh, no, that's what Torvald and everyone else thinks. But Papa didn't give us a pin. I raised all the money.
You? The whole amount?
4,800 crowns. What do you think of that?
But how is it possible? Did you win the lottery?
The lottery? Pooh, there's no art to that.
Well, where did you get it from then? Well, you couldn't have borrowed it.
Oh, no? Why not?
A wife can't borrow without her husband's consent.
Oh, but a wife with a little business sense. A wife who knows how to
I
deal
don't
with this
understand what you mean.
Well, you don't have to. Who said I borrowed the money? I could have gotten it lots of ways. I could have gotten it from an admirer. After all, a girl with my
You
looks-
lunatic.
Oh, I bet you are eaten up with curiosity, Christine.
Nora, you haven't done something indiscreet.
Is it indiscreet to save your husband's life?
I think it's indiscreet that without his knowledge...
He mustn't know. Understand? He mustn't know the close call he had. The doctors came to me, told me his life was in danger, that nothing would save him but a trip to the south. I used strategy. I started talking about how lovely it would be to go abroad like all the other young wives. I begged, I cried. I told him to be a dear, remember my condition, be kind and indulge me. then I hinted that we could easily take out a loan, and at that, Christine, he nearly exploded. Oh, he said I was frivolous, and that it was his duty as man of the house not to indulge my whims and fancies. I think that's what he called them. I thought, aha! Well, you'll just have to be saved. And then I saw my chance and acted on it.
And your father never told Torvald the money wasn't from him?
No. Papa died right about then. I considered bringing him into my secret, begging him never to tell, but he was so sick at the time. And then, sadly, it didn't matter.
And since then, you've never confided in your husband?
Oh, for heaven's sake, no! He is so strict about that sort of thing. Besides Torvald, with all of his masculine pride, oh, how painful and humiliating it would be for him to find out he was in debt to me. Oh, that would just ruin our relationship. Our lovely, happy home would never be the same.
But won't you ever tell him?
Yes. Maybe someday. When I'm not so attractive. Don't laugh! Oh, I only mean when Torvald loves me less than he does now. When he stops enjoying my dancing and dressing up and reciting for him, then it might be wise to have something in reserve. Oh, how foolish of me. That will never happen. Well, Christine, what do you think of my secret? I'm capable of something too. You can imagine how this hangs over me. Oh, it really hasn't been easy making the payments on time. In the business world, they have these things called quarterly interest and amortization, and it's all terribly difficult to manage. I've had to scrape together whatever I could. I couldn't take much out of the household allowance because Torvald has to live well. I didn't feel I could let the children dress poorly. No, whatever I was given for them, I felt I had to spend completely, the darlings.
Poor Nora. So it had to come entirely out of your personal budget then?
Yes, of course. And I took that responsibility to heart. Every time Torvald gave me money for new outfits and such, I never spent more than half. I always bought the simplest, cheapest things. Of course, I sew. And it's a godsend things look so well on me. Torvald never noticed. It does weigh on me at times. It's so lovely to wear nice things, you understand.
Oh, of course.
Oh, and then I found other ways of earning money. Last winter, I was lucky enough to get a lot of copy. And I locked myself away every night till quite late, writing. Oh, I was often dead tired. Still, it was wonderful fun sitting there like that, working, earning money. It was almost like being a man.
How much have you paid off so far?
Oh, that's difficult to say. These accounts, you know, aren't easy to figure. I just know I've put together everything I could. Oh, time and time again, I didn't know where to turn. I'd sit here dreaming of a rich old gentleman who'd fallen in love with me.
Who was he?
Oh, really? And then he'd die. And when the will was read, there it would say in big letters, all my fortune is to go immediately, in cash, to that enchanting Mrs. Nora Helmer.
But Nora, who was this gentleman?
Oh, for heaven's sake, the old man never existed. I just dream him up when I was at my wit's end for money. But it makes no difference now. The old fossil can do what he pleases. I don't need him or his will, because soon I'll be free. Oh, how lovely it will be, Christine. Carefree. To know you're carefree. To be able to romp and play with the children. Give up a lovely home. Everything just the way Torvald likes it. Oh, and soon spring will be here with its big blue skies. Maybe we can travel a little then. Oh, maybe I'll see the ocean then. Oh, Christine, how wonderful to be alive and happy.
It's probably best that I go.
No, stay. No one's expected. It must be for Torvald.
Excuse me, ma'am. There's a gentleman here to see Mr. Helmer, but I didn't know since the doctor's with him.
Oh, who is the gentleman?
It's me, Mrs. Helmer.
You. What do you want? Why do you want to see my husband?
Just bank business after a fashion. I work at the bank now, and your husband is going to be our new manager, I understand.
So it's only...
Pure, dry business, Mrs. Helmer.
Yes, then be good enough to follow me. Torvald! A gentleman to see you.
Once, many years ago, he was a lawyer in our town.
Yes, he's been a lawyer.
How he's changed.
Well, he's had a very unhappy married life.
He's a widower now.
Lots of children. There. Now it's going.
They say he had his hands in all kinds of pies.
Really? Well, I wouldn't know. But let's not talk about business. It's so boring.
Oh, no, really. I don't want to intrude. It'll give me some time with your wife. Oh, beg pardon. I see I'm intruding here, too.
Oh, not at all. Dr. Rank. Mrs. Lind.
Well, now, that's a name I've heard a lot in this house. I believe I passed the lady on the stairs as I arrived.
Yes, I must take the stairs slowly. They're hard on me.
Some touch of internal weakness.
More overexertion, I'd say.
Nothing else. And you're probably here in town to rest up and enjoy the parties?
I'm here to look for work.
Is that the best cure for exhaustion?
One has to live, Doctor.
Yes, there does seem to be a prejudice about that.
Oh, come now, Dr. Rank. You want to live? I know you do.
Yes, I really do. Wretched as I am, I'll gladly prolong my torment indefinitely. All of my patients feel that way too, and it's the same with the morally sick. Right at this moment, there's a moral invalid in there with Torvald.
Who do you mean?
Oh, it's a lawyer, Krogstad, a type you wouldn't know. He's rotten to the core. And even he began chattering self-servingly about how he had to live.
What did he want to talk to Torvald about?
I really don't know. I only heard something about the bank.
I really didn't know that this Krogstad had anything to do with the bank.
Yes, he's got a job there. I don't know if you're the type of person who scurries and scuttles about sniffing out hints of moral corruption in your neck of the woods. He maneuvers his victim into a corner where he can keep an eye on him, waiting for the moment to pounce. It's the healthy these days who are out in the cold.
All the same, it's the sick who need most to be taken in.
Ah, yes, there we have it. The concept that's turning society into a sanitarium. Why do you laugh at that? Do you have any real idea what society is?
What do I care for dreary old society? No, I was laughing at something quite different. Tell me, Doctor, is everyone who works at the bank dependent on Torvald now?
Is that what you find so terribly funny?
Oh, never mind. Never mind. But yes, it's terribly amusing to think that Torvald has so much power over so many people. Dr. Rank, a macaroon to celebrate.
Macaroons? I thought they were contraband here.
Oh, yes, but Christine gave these to me. Oh, no, don't be upset. You had no way of knowing Torvald had forbidden them. You see, he's afraid they'll ruin my teeth, but just this once. Help yourself, Doctor. You too, Christine. And I'll have one. Just a little one. Or two at the most. Yes. Now I feel very nearly perfectly happy. There's just one more thing that I just love to do.
Well, what's that?
Well, I'm dying to shout something so loud that Torvald could hear it from here.
And why don't you shout it?
Oh, I don't dare. It's so shocking.
Shocking.
Well, then I don't advise it. But you certainly can in front of us. What do you have such a strong desire to say to Torvald?
Oh, I have a huge desire to shout. To hell with it all!
Are you crazy? Go on, say it. Here he is.
Well, Torvald, dear, is your business with him done?
Yes, he just left.
Let me introduce you. This is Christine. She's just come to town.
Christine. I'm sorry, but I don't,
Oh, Mrs. Lind. Torvald, dear, Mrs. Christine Lind.
Well, of course, a childhood friend of yours, no doubt.
Yes, we were in school together.
And just think, she's come all this way just to talk to you.
Really?
Well, not exactly.
You see, Christine is remarkably adept at office work. And she's terribly eager to work under a really capable man who could supervise her and contribute more to what she already knows.
Very wise, Mrs. Lind.
And when she heard you'd been made manager of the bank, the story was wired out to all the papers. Oh, she got here as fast as she could. Now, Torvald, for my sake, you can do a little something for Christine, can't you?
Yes, it's not at all Mrs. Lind, I assume you're a widow.
Yes.
Any experience in office work?
Yes, a good deal.
Well, it's quite likely I may have an opening for you.
You see? You see?
You came at the right moment, Mrs. Lind.
How can I thank you?
It's not necessary, but now you must excuse me.
Wait, I'll go with you.
Don't stay out long, Torvald dear.
An hour, no more.
Are you going too, Christine?
Yes, now I can see about getting a room.
Oh, then perhaps we could all walk together.
It's a shame we're so cramped here. We couldn't possibly.
Don't even think of it. Goodbye, Nora. And thank you for everything.
Well, goodbye for now. Of course, you'll be back this evening. You too, Doctor. Yes, I know. If you're well enough. Well, you better be. Oh, there they are! There they are! Come in! Come in! Oh, look at them, Christine. The darlings.
My little smiling girl. Always smiling.
Oh, come, Mrs. Lind, this place is unbearable for anyone but mothers.
Oh, how fit and strong you look. Such red cheeks, like apples and roses.
We played in the snow.
Was it fun?
We made a fort. It was this big.
Really? That's wonderful.
I gave them a ride on my sled.
Both at once. Aren't you the strong one, Gia? Oh, let me hold her, Nanny. Oh, my sweet little baby doll. Oh.
I want to dance.
Yes, of course. Mother will dance with you, too.
We made snowballs.
Really? Oh, who did you throw them at? Oh, I wish I could have been there with you. Oh, don't, Nanny, let me. Oh, but oh, please, I won't dress them. It's fun. You look exhausted. There's hot coffee on the stove.
A huge dog chased them. It didn't bite.
No, even big dogs don't dare bite my baby doll children. Gia! No, picking at the packages.
What is it?
Oh, wouldn't you like to know?
Is it for me? Does it move? Is it pretty?
No, it's very ugly. It might bite you. Ooh, let me have a whisk on you. Oh.
Can we play a game?
Oh, yes, what should we play?
Hide and seek! Hide and seek!
Yes, let's play hide and seek. Let's see. Kaya, you hide first.
Oh, yeah.
Me? All right, I'll hide first. Go, go, go. Now, no peeking.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
You can't find me.
Ready or not, here we come. Gotcha. Over it. Mama, go into the hall.
Go into the hole. Go into the hole. Ooh. Ah, I've got an enemy. Oh, you got me. Oh, Kaya, you're so
I beg your pardon, Mrs. Helmer.
What do you want?
Excuse me, but the outer door was ajar, and I suppose someone forgot to close it.
My husband is not at home, Mr. Krogstad.
Yes, I know.
Then what do you want?
A word with you.
With me? Go into Anne-Marie.
Mama, who is this strange man? Is that man going to hurt you? He better not.
No, no, the strange man is not going to hurt Mama. Once he's gone, we will go on playing. Hmm? Go, go, go. You wish to speak to me?
Yes.
Well, why today? It is not the first of the month yet.
No, it's Christmas Eve. And it's up to you how merry your Christmas is going to be.
What do you want? Today I cannot possibly come up with any...
No, it's not about that. It's another matter. Do you have a moment?
Well, I suppose so.
Good. I was at Olson's restaurant today, and I saw your husband coming down the street with
Yes.
a lady
Yes, so?
who's just come into town.
Yes.
She's a good friend of yours?
Yes, though I don't see what that has to do with you, Mr. Krogstad.
Well, I knew her once.
I know.
Oh, So you know all about it. Now let me make this short and sweet. Is Mrs. Lynn going to have a job at the bank?
Mr. Krogstad, you have no right to question me. You, one of my husband's employees. But since you ask, you might as well know. Yes, Mrs. Lind is to be employed, and I'm the one who recommended her. Now you know, Mr. Krogstad.
Yes, so I was right.
I do have a little bit of influence. Just because I'm a woman, don't think for one moment that I'm... Well, when one is in a subordinate position, Mr. Krogstad, one really ought to be careful not to offend a person who has...
Influence?
Exactly.
Mrs. Helmer, would you be kind enough to use your influence on my behalf?
What do you mean?
Will you use your influence to see that I retain my position at the bank?
What do you mean? Who's trying to take it from you?
No, you needn't feign ignorance with me. I can well imagine that your friend would hardly want to run into me again. And now I know whom I have to thank for losing my position.
Oh, Mr. Krogstad,
Yes,
I'm sure you
that's
are.
all right. There's still time. Look, I advise you to use your influence to see to it that it doesn't happen.
But, Mr. Krogstad, I have no influence at all.
None. But you just said...
Oh, don't take me so literally. Me? Oh, how could I have such influence over my husband?
Oh, I know your husband from our college days, and I don't think the great bank manager is any more steadfast than any other husband.
Watch what you say about my husband, or I will show you the door.
Oh, the lady has spirit.
I'm not afraid of you any longer. After New Year's, we'll be done with the whole business.
Listen, Mrs. Helmer, if I have to, I'll fight to keep my measly job there as if I were fighting for my life.
Yes, so it seems.
And it's not just about the money. That's the least of my concerns. It's something else. All right, out with it. I assume you know, just like everyone else, that once, some years ago, I got myself into trouble.
Yes, I heard the
The
rumors.
case never even reached the courts, but from that moment on, every door was closed to me. I write for a few newspapers, it's not enough. So I ended up in the business that you know about. I had to do something, and then I haven't been among the worst of them, but now it's time for me to stop. My boys are growing up, and for their sake, I need to win back my respectability. That job at the bank was the first rung on my ladder, and now your husband wants to knock it out from under me and throw me back in the mud.
Mr. Krogstad, please believe me. I just haven't the power to help you.
You may not have the will, but I may have the means to compel you.
You won't tell my husband that I owe you money.
And if I did?
Oh, that would be shameful of you. Oh, this secret has been my pride and joy. And to have him learn of it in such an ugly, crude way from you, oh, that would open me to all sorts of unpleasantness.
Unpleasantness?
Well, go on and do it then. It will not go well for you. My husband will see you for the man you are, and then you will lose your job.
Mrs. Helmer, I asked you if it was just domestic unpleasantness that you feared.
My husband finds out, naturally. He'll pay you off at once. Then we'll be done with you for good.
Listen to me, Mrs. Helmer. Apparently you have either a very poor memory or you know nothing about business. And I feel that I owe it to you to explain your situation to you. When your husband was very ill, you came to me for a loan of 4,800 crowns.
I knew no one else. Where else
And
could
I promised to get you the money.
Yes, and you did.
I got it under certain conditions, however. You were very involved with your husband's illness at the time, and so eager to finance this trip abroad that I don't think you paid attention to the details. So I will remind you of them now. I got you the money in exchange for a note that I drew up.
Yes, and I signed that.
Quite correct. But then I added a couple of lines at the bottom of the note, stipulating that your father was to guarantee the note. Your father was to sign it.
Was to? He did sign it.
The date was left blank, though. Your father was to sign it and date it. Do you remember that?
Yes, I think so.
And then I gave you the note and you were to send it to your father. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
Yes, and you must have done so at once, because within 5 or 6 days you came back to me with the note all properly signed, and I gave you the money.
Haven't I made my payments on time?
More or less, but let's get back to my point. You were greatly troubled at the time, Mrs. Helmer. Your father was very ill, I believe.
He was on his deathbed.
Yes, and as a matter of fact, he died shortly thereafter.
Yes.
May I ask you, do you remember the exact date of your father's death? That day of the month, I mean?
Papa died on the 29th of September.
Ah, yes, quite correct. You see, I've looked into this, and now we come to something quite remarkable that I cannot explain.
What's remarkable? I don't understand.
What's remarkable is this. Your father signed this note 3 days after his death. Isn't that remarkable? Can you explain it?
What?
Well, your father died on the 29th of September, and this is dated October the 2nd. Isn't that extraordinary? It's also noteworthy that the date, October the 2nd, is not in your father's handwriting. But it's in a handwriting that I think I recognize. That's understandable, too. I mean, you know, your father may well have just simply forgotten to date his signature, and someone else came along then and put the date down before the date of his death was known. Then that's not important. There's nothing wrong with that. It's the signature that's important. And it was, there's no question about the signature. It was your father who signed this note, wasn't it?
No. I signed my father's name.
Mrs. Helmer, are you aware that this is a very dangerous confession?
Why, you'll get your money.
And Mrs. Helmer, evidently you have no clear idea of what you have done here. And let me assure you that what you did is no different than what I did that made me a social outcast.
You? You expect me to believe that you acted bravely to save your wife's life?
The law doesn't care about emotions.
And it is a very bad law.
Bad or not, if I take this note to a court, you will be found guilty.
I don't believe you. A woman doesn't have the right to spare her dying father further anxiety or save her husband's life. I don't know very much about the law, but I'm certain these things are allowed. And you don't know that. You a lawyer? You must be a very poor lawyer, Mr. Grogstad.
Possibly. But business, particularly the kind of business that we're involved here, I know very well. All right, do what you will. But let me assure you, if I am thrown back into the mud again, you will be right there with me.
Never! Don't try to frighten me. I'm not as foolish as you think. Well, that's impossible. I did it for love.
Mama, the strange man is gone?
Yes. Now listen, you mustn't tell anyone about the strange man. Do you hear? Not even Papa.
No, Mama. Can we play a game now?
No, not now.
Mama, you promised.
Yes, but I can't now. Oh, run along, darlings. I have so much to do. Go into the nursery. Go on, be good, my sweet darlings. No! Anne-Marie! Bring in the decorations.
Where do they go, ma'am?
Over there.
Shall I bring in anything else?
No, thank you. I have everything I need.
Very good.
A candle here. Flowers.
Yes. Was anyone here?
Here? No.
That's strange. I just saw Krogstad leave the house.
Oh, yes, he was here for a minute.
And he's been here begging you, imploring you to put in a good word for him, hasn't he?
Yes.
And I suppose it was supposed to be your idea as well. You were to say nothing to me about his being here. Did he suggest that too?
Yes, but Torvald...
Nora. How could you do that? To speak to him, and to make him a promise, and then to tell me an untruth about it.
An untruth?
Didn't you just say no one had been here?
Oh.
My little Lark must never do that again. My little songbird must never sing false notes. That's the way it must be, all right? And now we'll say no more about it. Oh. Cozy and warm it is.
Torvald,
Yes?
I'm really looking forward to the Sternborg's costume party.
And I'm dying to see what you'll surprise me with.
Oh, it's been such a pain.
What is?
I can't find anything to wear. Everything looks so foolish, inane, ridiculous.
So, my little Nora's decided that, has she?
Are you very busy, Torvald?
Well,
What are you working on?
bank business.
Already?
Well, I got the retiring manager to agree to let me make some changes in the staff and deal with some of the procedures. This will take all of Christmas week, but everything will be ready for the new year.
And that's why poor Krogstad.
Mm-hmm.
If you weren't so very busy, Torvald, I'd ask you for a really great favor.
Huh? Let's hear it. What can it be?
Well, no one has as good taste as you, and I want to be beautiful at the costume party. Torvald, couldn't you help me decide what I'm supposed to be? Couldn't you take charge and decide for me?
Ah, so that's it. My stubborn little mermaid is drowning and calling for her lifeguard.
Yes, I can't do it without you.
All right, I'll think it over, and pretty soon I'll come up with something.
Oh, that's so good of you. Aren't the red flowers beautiful? Torvald,
Yes?
was it really such a crime that this man Krogstad committed?
Forgery, that's all. Do you have any idea what that means?
Or might he have done it out of need?
Yes. Or thoughtlessness, like so many others. I'm not so heartless that I condemn a man categorically for just one mistake.
No, of course not, Torvald.
Many men have redeemed themselves by confessing their crimes and taking their punishment.
Crime.
But Krogstad didn't. He resorted to tricks, to sly, manipulative practices, and that has corrupted him.
But you really think that
Just
was
think,
corrupt?
a man with that on his conscience must always be lying and deceiving everybody all the time. Think of the mask he wears with his own children. And it's worse for the children too, Nora.
Why?
Because that cloud of lies contaminates the whole house. Every breath those children take contains evil germs.
Are you certain of that?
As a lawyer, I've seen it all too often. And nearly all cases of early corruption can be traced to lying mothers.
Why just the mothers?
It usually comes from the mother. But of course it can work the same way with the fathers too. Every lawyer is familiar with it. And this Krogstad has been poisoning his own children through a life of lies and pretense. That's why he's morally lost. So my little Nora must promise never to plead his cause. Let's shake on it.
Oh.
Oh, come. Give me your hand. There. It's a bargain. I assure you, it would have been impossible for me to work with Krogstad. I literally feel physically revolted when I come into contact with people like him.
Oh. It's so warm in here. I have so much to do.
Yes. And I must get through some of this paperwork before dinner. And, I'll think about your costume too, and pretty soon I'll come up with something. And I might even find some little gift to hang on the tree with gilt paper. I might even see about that. My precious little bird.
That's impossible. That must be impossible.
The little ones are begging, oh so sweetly, to come to their mom.
Oh no, don't let them come to me. Keep them with you, Anne-Marie.
Very well then.
Corrupt my children. Poison my home. That can't be true. It could never be true. Someone's coming. No. Of course no one's coming today. It's Christmas. Or tomorrow either, but... Oh, maybe... No. Nothing's in the mailbox. Quite empty. It's nonsense. I'm sure you only wanted to frighten me. I have 3 little children.
I finally found in a box with your masquerade costume.
Put it over there.
But they're not in good shape.
Oh, I'd like to tear them into millions of little pieces.
Oh no, they can be fixed. Be patient.
Yes, I'll go and get Mrs. Lynde.
Go and come and then in this weather, Miss Nora will catch a cold.
Worse things could happen. What are the children up to?
They're playing with their Christmas presents, the little dears.
Do they ask for me?
Well, they aren't used to having their mama with them.
Yes. In the future, Anne-Marie, I won't be able to be with them as often as I have been.
Well, little children can get used to anything.
Do you really think so? Do you think they'd forget their mother if she were gone for good?
Gracious! For good?
Well, tell me, Anne-Marie, I've often wondered, how could you give your child to strangers?
But I had to, or I wouldn't have been able to become little Nora's nurse.
Yes, but Anne-Marie, how were you able to bring yourself to do it?
When I had the opportunity to get placed so well, a poor girl who's gotten into trouble will do just about anything for a good job. And that slippery fish, well, he left me high and dry with nothing.
I assume your daughter has forgotten you.
Oh no, she hasn't. She wrote me when she was confirmed and when she was married.
Dear old Aunt Marie, you were such a good mother to me when I was growing up.
My poor little Nora had no mother but me.
And I know if my little ones didn't have me, that you'd... Oh, how silly of me. Go inside to them now. Right now I have to... Tomorrow you'll see how lovely I look.
Oh, there won't be anyone at the ball as beautiful as you, Miss Nora.
Oh, if only I dared go out. If only nothing would happen. If only no one would come while I'm out. Nonsense. Just don't think. The muff. It needs brushing. Pretty, pretty gloves. Now, let them go. Let them all go. 2, 3. Oh, they're coming. Christine! Oh, how good of you to come. Is anyone else with you?
I hear you're at my lodgings.
Yes. Oh, I was passing by. I need you to help me. Oh, come here. Let's sit on the sofa. There. You see, there's to be a costume party at Consul Sternborg's in the apartment of ours, and Torvald wants me to go as a Neapolitan girl and dance the tarantella. I learned it in Capri.
I see. The whole thing, that's quite an undertaking.
Yes. Well, Torvald wants me to. Now, here's the skirt. Torvald had it made for me, but now it's almost in tatters. I don't know if it's even worth.
We'll have it fixed in no time. It's just the trim. Some of it's loose here and there. Needle and thread. Here we are.
But that's good of you.
So, you realize you'll be in disguise tomorrow evening. You know what? I'll stop by to see you in all your glory. Oh, I almost forgot. Thank you for such a pleasant evening yesterday.
Oh, I don't think it was as pleasant as it usually is. You should have come to town a little sooner, Christine. But yes, Torvald certainly knows how to give the place elegance and charm.
And you do too, or you wouldn't be your father's daughter. But tell me, is Dr. Rank usually so depressed as he was last night?
No, last night was an exception. He's always in pain. He's critically ill, poor man. Sometimes he has spinal consumption. From his father, who led a promiscuous life. He had mistresses, and Dr. Rank has been sickly almost from birth.
Why, my darling Nora, how do you know about those things?
When you've had 3 children, you wind up visiting with women who know a bit about medicine. We talk of this and that.
And Dr. Rank is here every day.
Every day. Well, he and Torvald have been friends from childhood, and he's a dear friend of mine as well. Oh, Dr. Rank is really one of the family.
Tell me, is he sincere? I mean, he seems to flatter people a bit too much.
What makes you think so?
When you introduced us, he gushed that he had often heard my name, and your husband had no notion of who I was, so how could Dr. Rank...
He wasn't lying, Christine. You see, Torvald loves me beyond words, as he puts it, and he wants me all to himself. When we were first married, he was jealous if I even mentioned one of my old friends from our hometown. So after a while, I just dropped it. But when I'm with Dr. Rank, I can talk about those old times. He likes to hear about my friends.
Listen to me, Nora. In many ways, you're still a child. I'm a bit older than you, and I have a little more experience. And I'm telling you, you ought to put an end to this little affair with Dr. Rank.
What affair?
You were talking about a rich admirer who'd provide you with money.
Oh yes, one who never existed. Too bad for me. So?
Is Dr. Rank well off?
Yes, he is.
And no dependents?
None, but...
And he's here every day.
Yes, I told you that.
Men who are so refined should know better than to be so clinging.
I'm sorry, I don't understand you at all.
Oh, Nora, don't pretend with me. You think I don't know where you got the 4,800 crowns?
Are you crazy? From a friend who comes here every day. Oh, that would be an impossible situation.
Then it wasn't him.
No, never, absolutely not. Never even crossed my mind. Besides, he had nothing to lend then. His inheritance came later.
Well, that was lucky for you, Nora, dear.
No, it never would have crossed my mind to ask Dr. Rank. Although I'm sure if I did ask him...
But you never would.
Of course not. And I can't see that I'd ever need to. But I'm positive that if I spoke to Dr. Rank...
Behind your husband's back.
I must get out of this other thing that's also behind his back. I must get out of that.
Yes, I was saying that yesterday.
A man handles these things so much better than a woman does.
One's husband does, yes.
Nonsense. When you pay off a note, do you get it back?
Of course.
Then you can tear it up. Burn the nasty, filthy scrap of paper.
You're hiding something from me.
You can see it in my face.
Something's happened to you since yesterday morning. What is it, Nora?
Oh, Christine.
What happened?
Oh, Torvald's home. Oh, go into the nursery this way, through the mudroom. Take all the stuffing with you. He can't bear to see dressmaking.
All right, I'll go, but I'm not leaving until you tell me everything.
Oh, how I've been longing for your return, Torvald, dear.
Was that the dressmaker?
Oh, no, that's Christine. She's helping mend my costume. Tomorrow, you'll see how beautiful I will look.
Yes, wasn't that bright of me?
Brilliant. Well, wasn't it good of me to give in to you?
Good? Because you gave in to your husband's judgment? All right, you little goose, I know you didn't mean it like that. Now, I won't be disturbing you. I assume you'll be having a fitting or two?
And you'll be working?
Yes, I've been to the bank.
Torvald,
Uh-huh.
if your little lark were to beg you with all her heart and soul for something,
Well,
would you do it?
I would have to know what it was first.
Oh, your little squirrel would scamper about and do all sorts of tricks if you would be sweet and say yes.
Come on, out with it.
Your little lark would twitter from morning till night.
Oh, Nora, she does that anyway.
I'll be a wood nymph for you, Torvald. I'll dance in the moonlight.
Nora, don't tell me it's that business from this morning.
Yes.
You're bringing that up again.
Yes! For my sake, you must let Krogstad keep his job at the bank.
Nora, my dear, his position is promised to Mrs. Lynde.
Yes, and that's so good of you. Couldn't you fire someone else instead of Krogstad?
Why are you so incredibly stubborn about this? On a whim, you impulsively promised to speak for him. You expect me to...
That's not the reason. It's for your own sake. He writes for the most unprincipled newspapers. You said so yourself at dinner. Oh, I'm scared to death of him.
Ah, so that's it. It must be the old memories that are haunting you.
What do you mean?
You must be thinking of your father.
All right, yes! Remember those horrid, wicked things they wrote about Papa? Oh, they slandered him. I think he would have been dismissed if you hadn't been sent for to look into it. You were kind to him. You helped him.
Yes, but Nora, dear, there's a huge difference between your father and me. Your father was not entirely above reproach. I am, and I hope to keep it that way for as long as I have my position.
Who knows what vicious minds may invent? We could be living here, so happy and content in our cozy little home, and then all of a sudden, well, the children, Torvald, think of the children, I beg and implore you.
And by pleading his case, you make it impossible for me to keep him on. I've already let it be known at the bank that I'm firing Krogstad. The rumors will fly that the new bank manager changed his mind because his wife told him to.
Yes, what then?
Oh, as long as a willful wife can have her way, I'll be the laughingstock of... It'll plant the idea that I can be swayed by petticoats. Listen to me. I'd soon have to deal with the consequences. And besides, there's something else that makes it impossible for me to work with Krogstad.
What's that?
I could perhaps overlook his moral failings, if I had to.
Yes, Torvald, what is it?
And I've heard he's good at his work, but he was a college friend of mine. It was one of those rash friendships one regrets later. Well, all right. You might as well know, but he thinks we're on a first-name basis. And that tactless fool makes no effort to hide it in front of the others. Yes, Torvald, and sure thing, Torvald, has been excruciatingly painful for me. He's making it unbearable.
Torvald, you're not serious.
No, I am. Why not?
Well, it's so petty.
What are you saying? Petty? You think I'm petty?
No, on the contrary,
No,
dear,
if you
that's
call
why-
my motives petty, I must be petty. All right. We'll put an end to this for good. And Marie!
What are you doing?
Settling this thing. Take this letter, give it to a messenger. See that he delivers it at once. It's already addressed. Wait. Here's some money.
Very well, sir.
There now. Miss Wilful.
Torvald, what was in that letter?
Miss Krogstad's dismissal notice.
Oh, get it back, Torvald! Get it back for my sake, for your sake, for the children. Listen to me, Torvald, you have no idea what that man can do to us.
Too late.
Yes, it's too late.
Nora, my dear. I forgive you your panic, even though you insulted me. Yes, you insulted me. Or isn't it an insult to think that I should be afraid of this hack's courtroom threats? But I forgive you anyway, because it proves how much you love me. This is how it should be. My own dear sweet Nora, let whatever comes come. You'll see when it really counts. I have the strength and courage to take on the biggest problems.
What do you mean by that?
Bring on the worst.
Oh, no, never. Never in the world.
Then we will share it together. As husband and wife, as we should. Are you satisfied now? Not those frightened dove's eyes. It's nothing but empty fantasies. You should run through the tarantella and practice with the tambourine. I'll go into my inner office and I'll close both doors so I won't hear a sound. You can make all the noise you want. And when Dr. Rank arrives, just tell him where I am.
He really could do it. He will do it. In spite of everything. He'll do it. Oh, not that, never. Escape. Oh, what will I do? Anything but that. Oh, anything. Dr. Rank! I should have recognized your ring. But you can't go into Torvald now, he's busy.
And you?
I always have time for you, you know that.
Thank you. I'll make use of our hours together while I can.
What do you mean while I can?
Does that disturb you?
It's just odd. Did something happen?
Something I've long prepared for, but I didn't think it would come so soon.
What is it, Dr. Rank? Tell me.
It's all over. There's nothing I can do about it.
Is it? it you then?
Who else could it be? Why lie to myself? I'm the most miserable of all my patients, Mrs. Helmer. These last days I've been auditing my account. Bankrupt. Within the month I'll be rotting in the churchyard.
Oh, what a horrible thing to say.
But the thing itself is horrible. And so many other ugly things will happen along the way. There is one last examination. When I get the results, I'll know when the breakdown will begin. There's something I need to say to you. Helmer's delicate nature will not allow for anything ugly, so I don't want him near my sick room.
Dr.
I
Ray.
won't have him in there, not for any reason. I'll lock the door. As soon as I'm sure of my fate, I'll send you my calling card marked with a black cross. Then you'll know that the horror has begun.
No! Oh, you are being unreasonable today, and I need you to be in a good humor.
With death up my sleeve, and to suffer so for my father's sin, where's the justice? And in every single family, in some way or another, this inevitable retribution is passed on.
Nonsense. Nonsense. Cheer up, please. Be happy.
I'd love to be able to laugh at it all, while my poor innocent spine does penance for my father sowing his wild oats.
I assume he was infatuated with asparagus tips. And pâté de foie gras, was that it?
Yes, and with truffles.
Truffles, yes, and with oysters, too.
Oh yes, oysters, tons of oysters. Of course.
And then port and champagne to wash it all down. Oh, it's such a shame that these French delicacies had to attack your spine.
Especially when the spine attacked and never got to share in their good times.
Oh, yes, that's the saddest of all. Why are you smiling, Dr. Ray?
No, it was you who laughed.
No, it was you who smiled, Dr. Ray.
You're wilder than usual.
I'm in a crazy mood today.
Obviously.
Dear Dr. Rank, you'll never die. For Torvald and me.
You'll soon get over me. The dead are soon forgotten.
You really believe that?
People make new connections with fresh associations.
Who makes new connections?
You and Torvald will. I'd say you're on your way already. Why was that Mrs. Lind here last evening?
Oh, come now, you can't be jealous of Christine.
Yes, I am. She will be my successor in your house. When I'm 6 feet under, that woman will...
Oh, hush! Not so loud, she's in there.
There. Already. You see?
You're being ridiculous. She's mending my costume. Be nice, Dr. Rank. Tomorrow, I will dance beautifully, and you can imagine it's all for you. And Torvald, too, of course. That's understood. Sit right there, Dr. Rank. I'll show you something.
What is it?
Look there. Look.
Silk stockings.
Flesh-colored. Oh, it's dark in here right now, but tomorrow night. Why do you look so critical? Don't you think they'll fit?
I've never had a chance to form an opinion on that.
Oh, shame! Take that.
What other wonders will I see?
Oh, you shall see nothing more, because you have been a bad boy.
When I sit here with you like this, so completely easy and open, I don't know, I simply can't imagine whatever would have become of me if I hadn't come into this house.
Yes. I'm really pleased that you feel so at ease with us.
And then to have to leave it all.
Nonsense. You won't leave us.
Not to be able to leave some show of gratitude behind, even a passing regret, no more than a vacant chair that any passerby could fill.
And if I asked you now for... Oh, no.
For what?
For a great proof of your friendship.
Yes? Yes?
Oh, I mean for a really tremendous favor.
Would you please? Just this once, it would make me so happy.
Oh, you have the slightest notion of what it is.
Tell me then.
Oh, no. It's ridiculous. It's advice, really. And help. On top of that, a favor.
So much the better. I can't fathom what you mean, but please, go on, tell me. Don't you trust me?
Oh, more than anyone. You are my best, truest friend. That's why we're talking now. All right, here it is. Dr. Ray, you must help me prevent something. You know how dearly, how terribly deeply Torvald loves me. Oh, he wouldn't hesitate for a moment to give up his life for me.
Nora, do you think he's the only one?
What?
Who would gladly give up his life for you?
Oh, I see.
I swore you shouldn't know before I'm gone, but I'll never have another chance. Yes, Nora, now you know. And now you know you can trust me more than anyone.
Oh, please, please.
Nora!
Marin! Bring in the lamp. Oh, Dr. Rank, that was... I wish you hadn't.
I've loved you as deeply as... Was that bad of me?
No. No, but you should not have told me. That was not necessary.
What do you mean? Did you know? Nora, Mrs. Helmer, I'm asking you, did you know?
How do I know what I knew or didn't know? I don't know what to say. Dr. Rank, how could you be so clumsy? Everything was so nice, so good.
Now you know I'm yours, body and soul. So please, go on.
Go on! After that!
I beg you, tell me what you need.
I won't tell you anything now.
Don't punish me. Let me do what I can for you.
There's nothing you can do for me. Besides, I don't want help. It's just my ridiculous fears. You'll see. You are a nice man, Dr. Rank. Aren't you a little bit ashamed of yourself, now that we can see in the light?
No. Not really. But perhaps I'd better leave. For good.
No, indeed you must not. You must come and go as you always have. Torvald can't do without you.
Yes, but you?
I'm always tremendously happy to see you.
That's what threw me off. You're a mystery. So many times I've felt you'd rather be with me than with him.
Yes, well, you see, there are the people one loves most, and there are other people one would almost prefer being with.
Yes, there's something to that.
When I was a little girl, of course, I loved Papa best. But I loved sneaking down to the maids' quarters because they never lectured me, and I loved hearing them talk.
I see. So it's their place I've filled?
No! Dear Dr. Rank, that's not what I meant at all. But with Torvald, it's the same as it was with Papa.
Ma'am, please.
Oh,
Anything wrong?
no, it's my new dress.
Really, but isn't that your dress?
Oh, yes, that one. This is another one. I've had it made. And Torvald mustn't know.
Ah, so that's the big secret?
Yes, of course. Oh, go into him now. Keep him there for as long as you can.
Don't fret. He'll not escape me.
He's in the kitchen?
Yes, he came up the back way.
Didn't you tell him I was with someone?
Oh, yes, but he wouldn't go away.
So he won't leave.
No, he won't go till he's talked with you.
All right, send him in. But quietly, Anne-Marie. It's a surprise for my husband.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I understand.
Oh, the horror. It's coming. It's coming after all. Oh, but it can't be. It must not be. Speak quietly. My husband is at home.
Oh, well, good for him.
What do you want?
Information.
Well, quickly, what is it?
You know I got my notice, and I may have to leave town.
Mr. Krogstad, please believe me, I did everything I could. Nothing worked.
Does your husband's love for you run so thin? He knows what I can do
You
to
think
you
I would
and-
tell him about this?
No. No, I don't believe you would. And besides, it's not like Torvald Helmer to have the guts to fire the...
Mr. Krogstad, be good enough to respect my husband.
Oh, why, of course. All due respect. But since you're so careful to hide this now, I'm assuming you're a little clearer today than you were yesterday on what you've done?
More than you could teach me.
Yes, I'm such an awful lawyer.
What do you want?
Just a quick glimpse of you, of who you really are, Mrs. Helmer. I've been thinking about you all day long. I may be a lousy money lender, a money grabber, but in short, believe it or not, even a creature like me has a little bit of what you people call a heart.
Well, then show it. Think of my children.
Did you or your husband ever think of mine? But enough of that. I came here today because I want to be sure that you're not thinking of doing anything desperate. I am not going to proceed with any kind of action or anything like that.
Oh, no?
No.
Really? I knew you wouldn't.
No, it can all be settled quite easily. Nobody ever needs to know about it, just the three of us.
Oh, no, my husband must never know a thing.
Do you have the money to pay off the balance?
No, not right now.
Well, is there some way that you can raise it in the next day or two?
None that I'm willing to pursue.
It wouldn't do you any good anyway. Even if you came here with a fistful of money, you could never buy back your signature.
What are you going to do with it?
I'm going to hold on to it. Keep it close, in my possession. No one else will ever see it. So if you're thinking of doing something desperate,
I have.
like leaving your husband or your home,
I have.
or something worse,
What? How did you...
don't consider it.
How did you know I was thinking that?
Most of us think of that at first. I thought about it, but I didn't have the courage.
Neither do I.
You don't? You don't have the courage?
I don't have it. I
Good,
just don't
because
have
it would be stupid. After the initial wave has passed, why, then... I have a letter here for your husband.
Oh, telling him everything?
Is trying to spare you as much as possible.
Tear it up. I will get you the money somehow.
Pardon me, Mrs. Helmer, but I think I just made it pretty clear
I'm
to
not
you.
talking about the money I owe you. Tell me how much you want from my husband and I'll get it.
I don't want any money from your husband.
Oh, what do you want?
I want to regain my place in the world. I want to be able to move up. And your husband is going to help me. I've had an impeccable record at the bank for the last year and a half. I'm always struggling to make ends meet, but I've been satisfied. But now, I've been written off, and I will not be satisfied crawling back again. I want to be able to rise up, to be back at the bank again, but in a better position than I was in before.
He will never agree to it.
Oh, yes, he will. I know him. He won't dare stand in my way. And once I am back, just you wait. Before you know it, I'll be the assistant manager. And then it won't be Torvald Hemmeler, but Niels Krogstad, bank manager.
Oh, you will never see that day.
You think you can?
Now I have the courage to do it.
No, you don't scare me. A sensitive, smart, spoiled lady like you.
You'll see. Oh, you'll see.
Go down under the ice, into the black water, and next spring you'll surface ugly, unrecognizable, your hair falling out.
You don't frighten me.
And you don't frighten me either. People like you don't do that sort of thing. And really, what good would it do? I'd still have him right here in my pocket.
Afterward. After I'm no
Are
longer...
you forgetting that your final reputation will be in my hands? Good. I've given you fair warning. Don't do anything foolish. When he's read my letter, I'll be waiting for his reply. And remember, Mrs. Helmer, it's your husband who has forced me to resort to my old ways, and I'll never forgive him for that. Goodbye, Mrs. Helmer.
leave the letter. No, that's impossible. Don't just stand there. Don't change your mind. Go down the stairs. In the mailbox. It's lying there. It's lying there, Torvald. Now we're lost.
There now. I think I got all of them. Perhaps you'd like to try it on.
Christine,
What's wrong? You look upset.
come here. Do you see that letter in the mailbox behind the glass?
Yes, I see it.
It's from Krogstad.
No, it was Krogstad who loaned you the money.
Now Torvald will find out everything.
Believe me, Nora, it's best for both of you.
You don't know the half of it. I forged a name.
For heaven's sake.
I want to tell you, Christine. Only you, because you will be my witness.
Witness?
If I should lose my mind, it could happen.
Nora.
Or if something were to happen and I couldn't be here.
Nora, snap out of it. Be yourself.
If someone takes the blame, the whole blame, you understand?
Yes, but
You will be my witness that it's not true. Christine, I am very much myself. My mind is clear. I know what I'm saying, and I'm telling you. No one else knows anything about it. I did it all. Me. Remember that.
I won't forget, but I don't understand what you mean.
How could you? The miracle is coming soon.
The miracle?
Yes. Oh, but it's awful, Christine. It must not happen, not for anything in the world.
I'll go to Krogstad right now.
No, don't go to him. He will hurt you.
Once he would have done anything for me.
He what?
Where does he live?
Oh, how do I know? Oh, his card. Oh, what's the use? The letter is already...
Nora!
What do you want?
Well, don't be afraid, we're not coming in. You locked the door. Are you dressing?
Yes! I look so beautiful, Torvald.
It's just around the corner.
What's the use? It's over. Letters in the box.
And your husband has the key.
Always.
Krogstad can ask for his letter back unread. He can make up an
But
excuse.
you don't understand. This is the time that he always opens the door.
Stop. Keep him busy. I'll be back in no time.
Torvald!
Oh, well, now may I set foot in my own living room. Come on, Rank, let's see what... But what's this?
What, Torvald, dear?
Rank had me expecting a dress-up party.
That's what I assumed.
Oh.
I guess I was wrong.
No one is allowed to admire me in all my finery until tomorrow night.
Nora, dear, have you ever done it practicing? You look exhausted.
No, I haven't practiced at all yet.
Well, you know it's important for you to...
Yes, of course, but I can't go any further without your help. I've forgotten everything.
Oh, well, don't worry. We'll soon have you dancing beautifully.
Yes, promise me. I'm so nervous about it in front of so many people. Promise me, Torvald.
I promise. Tonight, I'm totally at your service. Your slave. You helpless little thing. But first...
Why are you going out there?
To see if there's any mail.
No, don't do that.
Why not?
I beg you not to. There's no mail.
Well, let me just check.
I can't dance tomorrow if I don't practice with you.
Nora, dear. Are you really that nervous?
Yes! Yes, I'm terribly nervous. Oh, please, Torvald, we have time before dinner. Play for me. Play for me and direct me like you used to.
All right, if that's what you want.
Yes, yes. Play for me and I'll dance.
Slower.
I can't do it slow.
Slow down, Nora.
This is how it has
This is madness. I don't believe it. You've forgotten everything I've taught you. You really do need instruction.
Yes. Yes. You can see how important it is. You must help me up to the last second, Torvald.
Of course. Of course.
Don't do any work. Today and tomorrow. Don't open a letter. Don't even go to the mailbox.
You're still afraid of that man.
That too?
No, Nora, I can see it in your face. There's something from him in the mailbox, isn't there?
Possibly. But you mustn't read any letters tonight. Nothing must come between us until it's all over.
Don't deny her.
My little girl will have her own way. But tomorrow, after you've danced,
Then you'll be free.
Now, dinner is served.
Oh, we're having champagne tonight, Anne-Marie.
Oh, very good, ma'am.
dear me, a regular banquet.
Yes, a banquet. Oh, we'll keep it up till dawn. Macaroons, Anne-Marie, heaps of them. Oh, just this once.
All right, now, no more hysteria. Be my own little lark again?
Yes, I will. Now go into the dining room. I'll be along in a moment. Christine, you stay. Help me fix my hair.
There's nothing wrong, is there? Nothing really wrong?
No, it's just her foolish, childish anxiety I was telling you about.
Well,
Left town.
I could see it in your face.
He's expected to return tomorrow. I left him a note.
You needn't have bothered. Things must now take their course. After all, it's wonderful to be expecting a miracle.
What are you waiting for?
You wouldn't understand. Go inside. I'll be along in a moment. "7 hours till midnight. 24 hours till the next midnight. And then the tarantella will be over. 24 and 7. That's 31 hours to live."
What has become of my little lark?
Well, here she is.
Not here, and it's almost time. What if? Finally. Come in.
I found your note. What's it all about?
I must speak to you.
Oh, and it has to be here?
It's not possible at my place. Come in. You're alone. The maid's asleep, and the Helmers are to dance upstairs.
So the Helmers are dancing the night away.
Yes, why not?
Right. Why not?
All right, Krogstad, let's talk.
What do we have to talk about?
A lot, you'll see.
Really? I thought whatever there was between
That's
us...
because you never really understood what happened.
Oh, there wasn't that much to understand. It happens all the time. A calculating woman drops her intended as soon as a better catch comes along.
Calculating, you say. You think I broke it off lightly?
Didn't you?
Do you really believe that, Niels?
If you cared, why did you send me that letter?
At the time, I thought it was best. Since I had to break it off with you, I decided to end your love for me.
Oh, so that was it. And all for money.
You seem to forget that I had an invalid mother and 2 younger brothers. We couldn't wait for you, Niels. You had such a long road before you then, and slim prospects.
And that gave you the right to cast me off in favor of another.
Yes. I don't know. I've often asked myself that question.
When I lost you, it was like the earth was quicksand, and I was sinking. Look at me now. I'm a drowning man hanging onto a wreck.
A rescue may be close at hand.
It was so close at hand, but then you blocked it.
Without my knowledge, Niels, I just found out today that I'm replacing you at the bank.
All right, let's say I believe you. That said, will you bow out?
That wouldn't help you.
Wouldn't help me. You should step aside on principle.
I've learned to be realistic. Life and bitter necessity have taught me.
And life has taught me not to trust finely tuned speeches.
Then life's taught you well. Has life taught you to trust actions?
What do you mean?
You said you were a drowning man hanging onto a wreck.
I am.
Well, I'm a drowning woman. I've no one to suffer with, no one to care for.
You chose your lot.
I had no choice. Niels, what if two shipwrecked people were to reach out to each other?
Meaning?
Two lost souls together have got to be better than going it alone.
Christine.
Why do you think I came to this town?
You don't mean to say you came here because of me?
I've had to work. All my life, as long as I can remember, I've worked. Work has kept me going, my one joy. Now I'm alone, aimless and lost. No one to suffer with. Niels, give me someone to work for.
I find this hard to believe. It's just your romantic notion of self-sacrifice.
Have you ever found me to be a romantic?
Would you really? What do you know about my past?
Everything.
And you know what people think of me?
You just inferred that if you'd been with me, you would have been a different person. Could it still happen?
Yes, Are you serious? You are. But do you have the courage to...
I need someone to care about, and people to care for. You need me, and your children need a mother, and I need you.
Thank you. Now I'll see to it that other people see me the way you do. I've forgotten what it feels like to...
The Tarantella. Go now. Go quickly.
Why? What
Hear the dancing upstairs. As soon as it ends, they'll be down.
Oh, all right. I'll go. Oh! It's too late. You don't know what I'm doing to the Helmers.
Yes, Niels, I know.
And you still want to be?
I know how despair can drive a person.
Oh, if only I could take it back.
You can. Your letter's still in the mailbox.
Are you sure?
Yes, but...
So that's it. You want to save your friend at all costs. That's it, isn't it?
Niels, a woman who sold herself once for the sake of others isn't going to make that mistake again.
I'll demand my letter back.
No.
No, I'll wait here until Helmer comes down. I'll tell him to give me the letter back, that it just has to do with my dismissal, and he doesn't even have to read it.
No, Niels, don't ask for the letter back.
The dancing has stopped. Isn't that why you wanted me to come here?
Yes, at first. I panicked. But more than a day has passed since then, and incredible things have happened in this house. Helmer's got to learn everything. This terrible secret must come to light, and these two must come to a new understanding. All the lies and manipulations have got to stop.
All right, if you want to risk it. But there is one thing that I can do.
Go now. Go quickly. The dance is over. We're not safe here together.
All right, I'll wait for you outside at the bottom of the stairs.
Yes, please do. You can walk me home.
Oh, I've never been so happy in my life.
How different. Everything's changed. Someone to work for, to live for, a home to make happy, and so worth the effort. I wish they would come. Here they are.
Torvald, please. No, I don't want to go inside. I want to go upstairs.
My dearest girl.
Please, Torvald, I beg you. Just one more hour.
Oh, not a single minute more. Come on. In we go. You'll catch cold in the hallway.
Good evening.
Christine.
What? It's Mrs. Lind. You're so late.
Yes, I'm sorry, but I wanted to see Nora in her costume.
Have you been sitting here waiting for me?
Yes, I arrived too late. You were already upstairs, but I just couldn't go without seeing you.
Yes. Take a good, long look at her, Mrs. Lind. Isn't she lovely?
Yes, she looks very...
Exquisite. Everyone said so, but she is so stubborn, this little thing. What's to be done with her? Can you imagine? I almost had to resort to force to pry her away.
Torvald, someday you'll be sorry you didn't indulge me, even for another half hour.
There, listen to her, Mrs. Lind. She danced her tarantella, and the applause was thunderous and well earned. Although, strictly speaking, her performance may have been a bit too naturalistic. I mean, it almost went beyond good artistic taste. But never mind. She was a great success, and that's what's important. And she wanted to go on, but I didn't want to weaken the impression, the effect. So, I took my little Capri girl, my capricious little Capri girl, under my arms, and after a quick tour of the room, and a curtsy to one and all, and then, as they say in novels, beauty disappeared. See, exits should always be effective, Mrs. Lind, and that's what I can't seem to get Nora to understand. Oh, it's hot in here. Oh, it's so dark in there. Excuse me.
Well, I talked to him.
And?
Nora, tell your husband everything.
I knew it.
You have nothing to fear from Krogstad, but you must tell him.
I won't.
Then the letter will.
Thank you, Christine. Now I know what I must do.
So, Mrs. Lind, have you had time to admire her?
Yes, and now I'll say goodnight.
Oh, so soon. Is this yours, this, knitting?
Yes, thank you. I almost forgot it.
So, you knit then?
Yes?
You know, you really ought to embroider instead.
Indeed. And why?
Because it's so much prettier work. Look, you hold the embroidery in your left hand, like so, and in your right hand, you work the needle in a long, easy curve. Don't you?
Yes, I guess that...
But knitting is so ugly. The arms are tucked in at your sides with the needles going up and down. There's something so machine-like about it. Oh, that champagne was glorious.
Yes. Good night, Nora. And don't be stubborn anymore.
Well put, Mrs. Lind.
Good night, Mr. Helmer.
Yes, good night. Good night. Of course, I hope you'll get home safely. I'd be happy to, but you don't have far to go, so, good night. Good night! Oh, thank God! At last we're rid of her. What a bore.
Are you tired, Torvald?
No, not at all.
You're not sleepy?
No. In fact, I feel alert and perky. But you look like you could fall asleep in a heartbeat.
Yes, I'm very tired. I'll be asleep soon.
You see, I was right not to linger.
Yes. Well, everything you do is best.
Now my little lark is talking reasonably. Oh, say, did you notice how jolly Frank was tonight?
Was he? Oh, we didn't get a chance to talk.
Well, neither did I, but it's been a long time since I've seen him in such spirits. It's wonderful, though, to be back here with you again. To be completely alone with you, you bewitching enchantress.
Oh, don't look at me like that.
Can't I look at my richest treasure, at this loveliness which is mine and all mine? Mine and mine alone, wholly and entirely mine.
You mustn't speak to me that way tonight.
Oh, the tarantella is still in your blood, and it makes you even more enticing. Listen. The guests are beginning to leave. Nora! Soon it'll be completely quiet in the house.
Yes. I hope so.
You do. Don't you, my love? You know, when we're at a party together, do you know why I speak to you so little and keep my distance, throwing you stolen glances from across the room? Do you know why I do it? It's because you are my secret love, my secret young bride, and no one guesses there's anything between us.
Yes, I know you're always thinking of me.
And then, when we get ready to leave, and I wrap your shawl around these smooth, soft, round shoulders you've got around that wonderful curving neck of yours, and then I pretend that you're my secret bride, my secret young bride, and that we're just coming back from our wedding. That it's the first time that I'm bringing you into my house, that it's the first time that I'm alone with you, completely and entirely alone with you. All evening I've been longing for you. When you were swaying and whirling about, doing the tarantella, my blood was boiling. I couldn't stand it. That's why I brought you back here so early.
Stop it! I won't have this tonight.
What? Oh, I see. You're teasing me. Won't! Aren't I your husband? Who's there?
It's me. May I come in a moment?
What does he want now? Hold on. How nice of you to stop by.
Thought I heard your voice. I just wanted to look in. This old haunt. You two have made it so cozy here.
Yes, well, it seems to me like you're having a wonderful time up there tonight.
Fantastic. And why shouldn't I? Why not get all you can out of life? All you can for as long as you can. The wine is superb.
Oh, especially the champagne.
You too. I'm amazed that I drank so much.
Torvald was right there with you.
Oh?
Yes, it has made him quite entertaining.
Well, why shouldn't he let loose and cap off a wonderful day?
Wonderful? I'm afraid I can't lay claim to that.
Well, I can. Yes, I can.
You've been doing scientific research, Dr. Rank.
I have.
What? I'll be, it's my little Nora's talking about scientific research.
May I congratulate you on the results?
By all means.
Then they were positive.
The best. Both for the doctor and the patient. Certainty.
Certainty.
Complete certainty. So, didn't I deserve a celebration tonight?
Yes.
Well, I agree.
Of course you did, Dr. Rank.
Absolutely. So long as you don't have to pay for it tomorrow.
You don't get something for nothing in life.
Dr. Rank, do you like these masquerades?
Yes, if there's a variety of comic disguises.
Well, tell me, what shall we go best to the next?
You two are insatiable. Already talking about the next party.
Got it. You should go as the good fairy.
What costume would you wear for that?
Your wife must wear her everyday dress.
Well put. And you, do you know what you will be?
Yes, Torvald. I know exactly what I will be.
Well,
At the next masquerade, I will be invisible.
oh, very funny. Odd idea.
They say there's a hat, a black hat. It's huge. Haven't you ever heard of the hat that makes you invisible? You put it over you and no one can see you.
Of course.
But I almost forgot what I came by for. Torvald, may I have a cigar? One of your dark Havanas?
With pleasure.
Thank you, my friend.
A light?
1,000 thank yous. And now, goodbye.
Sleep well, Doctor.
Thank you for that wish.
Wish me the same.
You? All right, if you like. Sleep well. And thanks for the light.
He drank too much.
Yes, could be. What are you doing out there, Torvald?
Just emptying the mailbox. It's full. I want to make room for the morning papers.
Are you working tonight?
You know I'm not. What's this? Someone's been fooling with the lock.
With the lock?
Yes, I'm positive. What do you think, Nora? Can't imagine that Anne-Marie would. The broken hairpin. Nora, that's one of yours.
It must be one of the children.
You'd better break them of that. Well, I got it open somehow. Anne-Marie, please put out the light in the hall. One day and so many. Oh. What's this?
The letter, or Torvald, no.
2 calling cards. From Rank.
From Dr. Rank.
Dr. Rank, consulting physician. They were on top. Must have dropped them off as he was leaving.
Is anything on them?
There's a black cross over his name. Look. That's gruesome. It's almost like he's announcing his own death.
But that's exactly what he's doing.
What? Did he say something to you? What do you know?
He said that when those cards came, he'd be leaving us. He'll shut himself away now and die.
Oh. My poor friend. Of course, I knew he wouldn't be with us much longer, but so soon. And now he'll shut himself in.
But if it's going to happen, it's best it happens in silence. Don't you think so, Torvald?
He's become part of our lives. I can't imagine him gone. With his suffering and loneliness. He was only a distant cloud in the sunshine of our happiness. Well, if he has to go, Maybe it's the best way. For him at least. And for us too. Now it's just us, Nora. We'll have to rely on each other. Oh, my darling wife. How can I ever hold you close enough? You know, time and again I've imagined that you were in some dangerous predicament, so I could rush in at the last moment and rescue you, risking everything for your sake.
Now you must read your mail.
No, I want to be with you tonight.
With your dying friend on your mind.
You're right. We've had a shock. There's ugliness between us. All these thoughts of death and corruption. We'll get free of them first. Until then, we'll remain apart.
Torvald. Good night. Good night.
Good night, Nora. Sleep well. I'm going to read my mail.
Never see him again. Never, never. Never see the children as well. Never, never. Oh, the freezing black water. Down so deep. Oh, I wish it were over. He has it now. He's reading it now. Oh God, not yet. Please, please, not yet. Goodbye, Torvald, you and the children.
Nora! What is this? Do you know what's in this letter?
Yes, I know. Let me go.
Wait, where are you going?
You can't save me, Torvald.
Is it true? What he writes, is it true? No, it can't be true.
It is true. I have loved you more than anyone else in the world.
Oh, Nora, no more lies.
Torvald.
You wretched woman. What have you done?
Just let me go. You are not going to suffer for my sake. You're not going to be guilty for my keep.
No more melodrama. You're going to stand right here and give me an accounting of yourself. Do you understand what you have done? Answer me! Do you understand?
Yes. I'm beginning to understand everything now.
Oh, what a horrible awakening. For the last 10 years, you, who have been my pride and joy, a hypocrite, a liar, and worse, a criminal. Oh, it's disgusting to think of, and the shame. Oh, I should have suspected something. Your father's dishonesty.
Father,
Be silent! You have inherited your father's flimsy values. No religion, no morals, no sense of duty. How I'm punished for covering for him. I did it for your sake, and this is how you repay me?
Yes, like this.
You have ruined my happiness. You have destroyed my future. Oh, it's awful to think of. I'm in the hands of a cheap little grafter. He can do anything he wants to me. Ask me for anything. Play me like a puppet, and I can't utter a word. Oh, I've been brought down by an unprincipled featherbrain.
Well, when I'm gone, you'll be free.
Oh! Stop the dramatics. Your father was always ready with these high-sounding speeches as well. What good will it do me if you're gone, as you say? No good at all. He can still let the cat out of the bag. And if he does, I might be suspected as your accomplice. They might even think that I was behind it, even that I put you up to it. And I can thank you for all of it. You, who I've called for 10 long years. Can you see what you've done to me?
Yes.
It's incredible. I can't even grasp it. But, we will patch up what we can. Take off the shawl. I said take it off. I've got to appease him somehow. It has to be hushed up no matter what. And we will go right on living here together. Everything must seem exactly as it was. You'll go right on living here, of course. But you won't be allowed to bring up the children.
They're mine.
I don't dare trust you with them. To have to say this to someone who I've loved so much, and someone that I still... But that's all over now. Happiness is no longer important. What matters now is saving the scraps, the shreds, the appearance. What's that? It's so late. Maybe it's the worst kind of... You don't suppose it would... Hide. Nora, I'll say you're sick.
A letter for Mrs. Helmer?
Give it to me. Yes. It's from him. You don't get to read it.
Go ahead. Read it.
I almost don't dare. We may both of us be lost. But I've got to know. Nora! Nora! Wait, let me read it again. Yes, it's true. It's true. Nora! I'm saved! Nora, I'm saved!
I?
Yes, you too, of course! And look, Nora, he sent back your promissory note. And he wrote that he was sorry and ashamed that a happy development in his life is... Wait, let me see what he wrote. Oh, who cares what he wrote? We're saved! Nora! We're saved! Oh, but first, Nora, this ugliness has to go. I just want to look at it one more time. I don't want to look at it. I just want the whole thing to fade like a bad dream. There. It's over. Nora, he wrote that since Christmas Eve It must have been 3 awful days for you.
It was a hard fight.
And you suffered pain and saw no escape, but no, we're not going to dwell on that. We're just going to keep repeating, it's over. It's over. You don't seem to realize it yet, Nora. It's over. Why that set look? Oh! I understand. You don't believe that I've forgiven you. But I have. I have, Nora. I've forgiven you. I know that what you did out of love for me.
That's true.
You loved me just the way a wife should love her husband. It simply means you misjudged the situation. But do you think I love you any less for not knowing how to handle it? No. No. You can lean on me. I'll guide you and teach you. I wouldn't be a man if your feminine weakness didn't make you twice as attractive to me. You mustn't mind those harsh words I said earlier. That was said in my first moments of... I was angry and confused. I thought my world had collapsed around me. I've forgiven you, Nora. I swear. I've forgiven you.
Thank you.
Where are you going? What are you doing in there?
I'm getting out of my costume. I'm putting it away.
Try to calm yourself and collect your thoughts, my frightened little songbird. You can rest easy now. My wings will shield you. Oh. How snug and warm our home is. Nora, you're safe here. Rescued. I'll bring peace to your poor shuddering heart. You'll see. It will gradually happen. Now, tomorrow, all of this will seem different. Everything will be exactly as it was. And I won't have to go on saying, I forgive you. You'll feel it yourself. How can you ever imagine I'd want to disown you? Or even blame you in any way? You don't know a true man's heart, Nora. See, for a man, there's something indescribably sweet and satisfying in knowing that he's forgiven his wife. And that he's forgiven her with a full and open heart. In a way, it's as if she's come into the world again in you. She's become his wife and his child. From now on, that's what you'll be to me. Bewildered, helpless little thing. Don't be afraid of anything, Nora. You can lean on me. I'll be your conscience and your guide. Oh. What's this? Not going to bed? You've changed your dress.
Yes.
But, Nora, it's so late.
I'm not sleeping tonight.
Nora.
It's not that late. Sit down, Torvald. This will take some time. You and I have a lot to talk over. I have a lot to say.
You worry me. Nora, I don't understand you.
Exactly. You don't understand me, and I've never understood you either. Until tonight. But don't interrupt. Just listen to me, Torvald. We are closing our accounts.
What do you mean?
Does anything strike you as odd as we sit here?
Odd? What?
We had been married for 10 years, but this is the first time we've ever sat down to talk to each other seriously.
What do you mean, seriously?
For 10 years, longer including our courtship, you and I have never exchanged a serious word on any subject of consequence.
You mean I should have involved you in problems you couldn't possibly
I'm not
help
talking
you?
about those problems. I'm saying you and I have never sat down and tried to get to the bottom of things.
Yeah, but my dearest Nora, what good would that possibly have done you?
That's it. Right there. You've never understood me. I have been greatly wronged, Torvald. First by Papa and then by you.
What? By the two people who loved you more than
You
anyone?
have never loved me. You've been in love with your idea of me, that's all.
Nora, what a thing to say.
When I was home with Papa, he told me all of his opinions, and they became mine. If they were different, I hid them, because he would not have liked it. He used to call me his doll child, and he played with me the same way I played with my dolls. And then when I came to live at your house,
That's a strange way to put it.
I mean when I was passed from Papa's hands into yours, you arranged everything according to your taste, so I acquired your taste as well, or so I thought. I may have pretended. Perhaps it was both. Now when I look back, it seems as though I've been living here like a beggar, living from hand to mouth. I have done little tricks for you, Torvald, and that's the way you wanted it. You and Papa have sinned against me. You are to blame that my life has come to nothing.
Nora! How unfair and ungrateful of you! Haven't you been happy here?
No, I thought I was, but no, I never have.
No. Not happy?
No, only merry, light-hearted. And you've always been so kind to me, but our house has never been anything but a playpen. I've been your doll wife here, just as I was Papa's doll child. And the children have been my dolls. I thought it was fun when you played with me, just as they had fun when I played with them. That's our marriage, Torvald.
There's a grain of truth in what you say. Greatly exaggerated and overblown as it is. But from now on, things will be different. Now, we move to education.
Well, whose education, mine or the children's?
Yours and the children's.
Torvald,
Dearest.
you are not the man to teach me to be a good wife to you.
How can you say
And
that?
how am I equipped to bring up the children?
Nora,
A few minutes ago, didn't you say you couldn't trust me with them?
I was angry. Upset. Why dwell on
Yes,
that?
of course, but you were right. I'm not up to the job. There's another job I have to do first. I have to try to educate myself. And you can't help me with that. I have to do it alone. That's why I'm leaving you now.
What? What are you?
I have to be able to stand alone, completely alone on my own 2 feet if I'm ever going to discover myself and the world out there.
Nora.
So I can't go on living.
Nora!
I must go right now. Steve will take me in for the night.
You're insane. You've no right to... I forbid it.
From now on, you can't forbid me anything. I'm taking my personal belongings with me, but I will accept nothing from you, now or in the future.
What kind of
Tomorrow I'll
madness
go
is
back to my
this?
hometown, the home where I came from. It should be easier for me to find some kind of work there.
Blind, incompetent child.
Well, I must learn to be competent.
Abandon your home. Your family, your husband, your children. You're not even thinking about what people will say.
I can't consider that. Only what I must do.
This is outrageous. You're running away from your most sacred vows.
What do you think my most sacred vows are?
I have to tell you that? They're your duties to your husband and children.
Why have other duties just as sacred?
Ridiculous. What duties?
My duties to myself.
Before everything, you are a wife and a mother.
No, I don't believe that anymore. I believed it before everything else. I am a human being, not less than you. And I want to try to become one. I know most people agree with you, Torvald. Many books agree with you too, but I can't go on believing what the majority says or what the books say. I must be able to think for myself and try to become clear about life.
Why can't you understand that your place is in our home? Haven't you got a guidepost to turn to? Where's your religion?
Torvald! I'm not really sure what religion is.
What is...
Well, I know what the minister said when I was confirmed. He said religion is this and that. When I'm alone, when I can stand alone, I look into it. I try to discover if what he taught me was true. True for me.
A young woman your age shouldn't talk like that. If religion can't keep you straight, allow me to appeal to your conscience. I assume you have moral feelings. Oh wait, is that gone too?
There is no easy answer, Torvald. I just know I see these things quite differently than you do. For instance, I've just learned that the law is not at all what I imagined it was, and I can't get it through my head that the law is fair. A woman doesn't have the right to spare her dying father, or save her husband's life. I just can't believe that.
You sound like a child. You have no idea about the world you live in.
No, I don't. And I'm going to discover for myself soon enough. I'll try to discover what's right. Society's ideas or mine.
Nora, you're ill. You've got a fever. I almost think you're out of your head.
I've never been more clear-headed and sure of anything in my life.
Clear-headed and sure, and you're abandoning your husband and children.
Yes.
Then there can only be one possible reason.
What?
You no longer love me.
Yes, that's it exactly.
Nora.
This is so
you
hard.
can't be
Well, you
serious.
have always been so kind to me, but I can't help it. I don't love you anymore.
Are you also clear-headed and sure about that?
Yes. That's why I can't go on living here.
Can you tell me what I did to lose your love?
Yes, I can. It was this evening. When the miracle didn't happen, then I knew you weren't the man I thought you were.
I don't follow you. Be more specific.
I've waited patiently for 10 long years for... I know miracles don't happen every day. But when this crisis threatened me, I said to myself confidently, I said, the miracle will come now. When Krogstad's letter was lying in that box, I never for a moment believed you would give in to his terms. I convinced myself that you would say to him, go on! Tell your tale to the world, if you like, and that when he'd done that, you...
Yes, what then? After I covered my own wife with shame and disgrace?
When he'd done that, I was sure that you'd step forward. Take the blame. That you'd say, I am the guilty one.
Nora!
You think I would never accept such a sacrifice from you? You're right, I wouldn't. But what good would my protest be against yours? That was the miracle I was waiting for. Terrified, but hopeful. And to stave that off, I would have taken my own life.
I've worked day and night for you, Nora. Bear hardships and want for your sake. But no man sacrifices his honor. Not even for the one he loves.
Millions of women have done that every day.
Oh! You think and talk like a silly child!
Perhaps. But you neither think nor speak. Like a man I could share my life with. After your terrible ordeal was over, when it was no longer a threat to you, it was as if nothing had happened. I was your lark again. Your doll. Who you'd have to treat with kid gloves now that I'd turned out so weak and fragile. Torvald, in that instant I realized that for 10 years I had been living with a stranger. And that I conceived 3 children with me. God! I can't stand the thought of it. I could tear myself to pieces.
All right, I see. A gulf is open between us. But, Nora, can't we bridge it somehow?
The way I am now, I'm no wife for you.
But I have the strength to become another man.
Perhaps, if your doll is taken away.
But apart from you, no, Nora, I can't imagine.
That's all the more reason why it must be.
No, Nora, don't go tonight, not tonight.
I cannot spend the night in a strange man's house.
But, well, couldn't we stay here like a brother and sister?
You know very well how long that would last. Goodbye, Torvald. I won't look in on the children. They're in better hands now. I am no use to them now.
But someday, Nora, someday.
How can I tell? I have no idea what I will become.
But you're my wife. Now and wherever you go.
Listen, Torvald, when a wife leaves her husband, as I am doing, the law frees him of all responsibility. And I'm freeing you of all responsibility. Don't feel yourself bound. There must be complete freedom for both of us. Take your ring back. Give me mine.
That too?
That too. And tomorrow after I'm gone, Christine will come for some of my things. I would like those things shipped to me.
Over. All over? Nora, will you ever think about me?
I'm sure I will often think of you. And the children. And of my life here.
May I write you?
No, please don't do that.
Or at least let me send you.
Nothing.
Or I'll help you
Nothing.
if you need it.
I can accept nothing from a stranger.
But Nora, can I never be more than a stranger to you?
Torvald, that would take the miracle of miracles.
Yeah, but what is this miracle of miracles?
Both of us would have to change so that... Torvald, I stopped believing in miracles.
Hey, but I'll believe in it. Both of us would have to change, so much so that...
So that our lives together would be a true marriage.
Nora! Nora! She's gone. The miracle of miracles